Okay, they cut me off again. So how this I want to address, they're very bothered by the same reason I say they cut me off. By loading the extra sounds, changing the screen, it causes my videos to take up more memory, and I'm giving my videos enough memory. I shouldn't be cut off after 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They're not going to in any way stop me from doing these videos. Uh, they just said they thought that would make me look like a fame whore. How famous am I getting sitting under a cardboard box in an apartment where other people are talking in the background? I mean, if I had been filming this in like a well lit, they use the word studio. I would just say a well lit room at this point. Had I been filming this in a well lit room, doing my hair, changing my clothes, I would have had makeup on. That would have been something else. I told you guys in a previous video, I stopped wearing makeup when this started happening because my face was getting swollen. Certain areas were getting marked, burned, scabs. Like I used to in the videos peel off the scabs, and said, "Oh, why weren't you washing your face?" Again, it interacts with the water. We already know that now. These things we're past that. They would keep me stuck in the past, and that is something a predator does. There was something I was watching, and it was talking about how these predators lure people in, and they talk about them getting to know their victims. And I keep linking this video, but I'm going to link it again, of a predator who lures his victim into finding out what really bothers the child, and how he can manipulate the child using that. So if the child didn't have something, he would try to give that child something, gifts, all the things that we now know, but years ago we weren't talking about. And this is why I want my videos to really be seen by people my age, because I watched a really funny thing about 80s kids, and they're in my age range. So I'm not going to debate whether or not I'm an 80s kid anymore, which is what they would have me do. They would have me stuck on every little teeny tiny thing. Anyway, and it was funny. But I think as 80s kids, we didn't have the words for some of these things. So how they were going to bother me is because they feel like I would be bothered by the same things they would be bothered by. So they would uh, as a predator, they wanted to take what I do and make it seem like, well, we always did those things. We didn't. They they're really upset by the fact that as I'm doing these videos and I'm telling you what they're talking about, it doesn't have anything to do with me. So why put this in my apartment? I think it's because, and they knew the police were, I notified the police for years ago, and they knew that I was doing these videos. So why put this in the apartment? They admitted today, and this will be a V2K admits, that they wanted to confuse someone's legal case. So I'm just going to write that. V2K admits they wanted to mess up someone's legal case. That has nothing to do with me. And they thought I would in some way bend on that. From the time that they wanted me to talk about a different person's issues, and I said I'm in no shape mentally to talk about that person's issues, and I refuse to, I'm doing the same thing on this. I'm not going to be a fame whore. I never was. They admitted that I was the person everyone was saying, why don't you model? I'm not a model. So they admit that I've always been asked to do like little modeling type of things. Listen, I've seen models and they get really offended. I've seen models in real life. These people are amazingly attractive. They're amazingly attractive. Like you just kind of like, you know. So they said that one of their personality assessments on me is they thought I would be jealous. Then you weren't with me. All my little friends I thought were much cuter than I was, and I loved it. But like I said, they weren't models either. Sorry, guys. But the real models are like, oh. Anyway, oh, that was another thing that they were bothered by. They didn't like that they confused a story about me in acting class, but then later the acting the people in the acting class couldn't remember how the story went. I told them, like, why don't you guys just film these things? I'm filming these videos so that I can go back and V2K versus me, and it solves everything. Why didn't they film it? I think they did. I think they probably did film it, but when it didn't agree with their lie, and the reality, they erased it. So it turns out the actress, who you probably will already guess, who's incredibly gorgeous, talked about this issue, and it's probably something they thought I would get involved in. I really don't want to. I mean, does it seem like I have a lot of free time besides sitting under cardboard boxes? Um, that's another point they made. They admit that I didn't write about actors in like gossip, or I what I would write for Yahoo was nothing about gossip. It was about like issues and particular newsworthy, which is their word, things, and it wasn't gossip. And why, even now, if something a celebrity says or does is relevant to gang stalking, targeting, I'll use that. It's important. I think what I've said in a previous video, and I'll link that video, is that celebrities help us get these type of topics, um what is it called when you get attention. They help get this attention for these topics, which is what a model does. And that's part of what I'm saying, that everything is really connected. When you have someone who can talk about something, and why I needed to make sure you guys knew my background is because I don't want to be used to suck people into the lies about gang stalking. I want to